You're too sweet for me. You're too for me. I take my whiskey, my black and my berry. You're too sweet for me. But I should probably never sing again because that was disgusting. Who that is? But it's time for me to head out. Head out to go visit my mama. By the way, I have to edit this at my mom's place. Now that I think about it. Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Mariana, and if you're not new, then we've been best friends since not my first episode, but me trying to figure out how this was gonna all play out. But welcome back. How's your guys' day? I hope you guys are doing good. Today is Friday. I always be filming at the last minute. Actually, I recorded yesterday, but there were so many things going on yesterday where I didn't witness a car crash. I witnessed the aftermath of a car crash. That's one. Two, some blonde bimbo decided to throw the middle finger because I kept on saying, keep on driving. Oh, drive! Nosy ass bitch! This is the reason why people get into accidents, and this throws a middle finger. Drive! So, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday, wherever you're at, whether you're here in Georgia, whether you're in California, Canada, wherever you guys are watching me from, even from Mexico. Hola, mi nombre es Mariana. Si ya has visto mis videos, pues somos mejores amigos. And I don't speak Spanish that often, but if I do, I probably sound like a no sabo kid, if you want to be 100% honest. No. The first one, it's more of a childhood trauma. Well, more childhood trauma. But this came to mind because of the game room that my boyfriend and I have. When you go in, it's dark until you tell, like, you know, hey Alexa, turn on game room lights. You know, that whole shebang. But when you go in there, it's just scary. I don't like going in there when I'm alone. Like, it terrifies me. Like, I just don't like being there. And also, the closet in my bedroom as well also scares me because it just looks like it's a void of pitch darkness, even though you can see my clothes, but it just scares the living crap out of me. So that's one thing. Also, the whole thing of being claustrophobic. So all of this, if you watched my past episode titled when I was getting beat up, I talked about how towards the end, when I was a kid, I would visit said uncle's place, and they had 3 daughters, so on and so forth. So my mom never really took me to their home, just because of personal reasons, and I rarely enjoyed going to their house just because I don't think my uncle was ever present. I don't really recall if he was or wasn't, but I just remembered that most of the females in the household would always make fun of me, and that would just make me want to go less. So but in this case, we had gone to go visit, and I don't know if it was to go visit and my mom stayed, or in the aspect that they were just going to take care of me for a little bit. When I mean take care of me, I mean my 3 older cousins, because I don't really recall if my uncle was there or not. So in this story, they take care of me, and I'm okay with it. Like, I'm living life. I'm like, okay, this is nice. And all of a sudden, we're like, let's play hide and go seek. So we play hide and go seek. I don't know how many times, but every single time I was found. I wasn't really a good hider, nor a good seeker. So I was just playing for the fun of it. And there was this moment where we were like, let's play truth or dare. And in my case, there was nothing really to ask, just because I was only like, 4 to 6 years old. before this was before I moved to Georgia. So the only thing they could ask me was like, if they were to ask me truth, I feel like the only question they would ask me is like, have you kissed a boy? Have you hold a boy's hand? And do you have a boyfriend or whatever? And honestly, I couldn't lie to those because I would always say like, no, like ill cooties. So, I just remember that we did this dare. They had told me to, they were like, I dare you to go into our little tiny door attic and stay there for 5 minutes. And the thing was that I hated this room that had a tiny door attic on its side. Like, this room to me was just so unsettling that whenever we would go visit, I would avoid this room like the plague. I hated it. I always, like, if I had to walk across it, I would have to walk really fast because I was terrified of it. And I just avoided it at all costs. But in this instance, they were telling me, I dare you to go into that little tiny door attic in that room that you don't like going in. And I'm just here like, damn, they dared me. Like, as a kid, I'm like, if they dare you, it's because you have to do it. So I was like, okay. So they take me to this room, and at that point, I was already ready to back out. I was about to say, no, I can't do this. Like, I was just so scared. So I was just here like, damn, I have to do this. So I was like getting myself prepared to go into this little tiny attic on the side. I was small. I wasn't small. I wasn't tall enough to actually go inside. So they had to put a stool. So they would tell me like, you're going in here with no flashlight, because in that little room there's no light. There's nothing. You need to use a flashlight in order to like guide yourself to look for stuff that are in, the attic. So they were like, no flashlight, and you have to be there for 5 minutes. You can't cry, you can't make any noise, you can't knock on the door. And I'm just here like, damn it. So I was like, okay. So literally they put the stool, I go in, they take the stool away, and they're like, we'll be counting 5 minutes. And if you get out before 5 minutes, you lose, and you have to do something. I don't know what something was. So they closed it. And the thing is that with this door, you needed like a lock and a key. So they closed it, they locked it, and they took the key. And I was just there, like, literally, I was just like this. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But I was just like, okay, stay calm. It's only for 5 minutes. Everything is fine. Like, it's scary. Like, you can hear yourself breathe, but you can also hear something that shouldn't be there. So, like, a pipe moving, running, or, like, you can hear the people outside, and you can think that somebody's in there with you. So, I was just there with, like, my little hands, and I'm just like, oh. I'm, like, breathing through this. I'm like, oh, my God. And to me, 5 minutes felt like eternity, because, one, I didn't even know what the time was, but there was a point where I had heard something, and I'm like, it's probably people from outside. Like, I'm exaggerating. Like, it's probably either somebody's outside running, or there's a pipe running, and I need to chillax. So I'm just here like this with my eyes closed. Like, I'm like, okay, like, they're gonna come in 5 minutes. Once 5 minutes is up, you're fine. So I'm over here waiting, and I just keep on hearing noises that it just makes me even more paranoid. And at that point, I'm like, I can't take it. Like, I don't know if it's been past 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever. Over here, there, I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go out. Like, can you please take me out? Nobody's in the room. I didn't realize nobody was in the room because they actually went downstairs and they were living their best lives. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but they were living their best lives. And I'm just over here, like, at this point, I'm starting to panic because I'm like, they forgot about me. They probably went to the store and they forgot about me. I'm like, I'm gonna grow up old and I'm gonna die in here. And I'm over here, like, next thing, I start knocking, and at that point, I start feeling tears coming out of my face, out of my eyes, and I'm just like crying at this point. But I can still, like, there's no change in my voice. Like, I'm still like, hey, I'm done. Can you please take me out? And I'm over here like knocking. Oh, that's a big ass cow. I started knocking, and nobody. And then eventually I'm just like, okay, calm down. And then I start kind of pounding, but not so loud. And at that point, like, I'm starting to have a panic attack. Keep in mind, I don't even know what a panic attack. I just feel like this rush of anxiety and paranoia, and just, I don't know. And then eventually, like, I start pounding with both hands. Like in the scene where Maddie is trying to open the door, and Euphoria and Nate and I forgot her name, are, having smacks in the goddamn bathroom. So now I'm pounding and now I'm crying. I'm like, let me out, let me out. And they're not coming. Nobody's coming. And at that point, I was like, my fate is sealed. I'm going to die in here. They're going to forget me. And the next thing you know, like, I hear a car park in, and it sounds like my mom and my uncle, and I start pounding even harder and harder and harder. And that's when you can hear them say, oh, what's that noise? And that's when you see my cousins. I don't know which ones, but my cousins start running up into the stairs, and they unlock the door. And since I was near the door, literally I just fell in my face, and I'm over here crying. I'm just scared, and I'm like shivering, like if I went through severe trauma. Like, I'm just shivering, and I'm just like with like fists. And they're like, go wash your face. I don't want them to be seeing that you've been crying, because then we're going to get in trouble. And I'm just here like, me being me, I'm like, okay. So I go to the bathroom, wash my face. I come out, and my mom was like, why is your face so red? And their excuse was like, oh, I was playing outside and I was running, so my face was red. And I had nothing else to say. Like, at that point, I think that was the last time I legitimately, like, wanted to play in that house. That was the last time I was like, I don't want to play in this home anymore. I was traumatized. Like, going to the house was fun and games at times. I did enjoy sometimes with my young, well, she's older than me, but at that time she was a youngest sibling. I would always enjoy having fun with, the youngest sibling, and we would have so much fun, and we would enjoy, like, playing or whatnot. But I think there was a point where we grew apart, and when we grew apart, there was this altercation we had on Facebook. But, yeah. And then most of the females there and that side of the family would always make fun of me when I was younger. So at that point, like, I didn't feel comfortable, and my mom didn't either. So we wouldn't really go visit. And, well, we never went to go visit them anymore ever since we moved to Georgia. That little story time for that side of the family. I think that's the last one. I mean, there's other bits and pieces where, like, where they would make fun of me, and there was this whole thing where they would make fun of me. I can't tell you specifically who. There's a point where they would say, we need to pay Lupita in order for her to talk. And when I was young, I didn't understand that, and I thought that was a good thing, because as a kid, like, if you're getting money, it's because, it's a good thing. But that whole thing stuck with me, because it would also say, like, oh, she doesn't say anything, she's like a mouse. And I didn't really know what that meant until, like, I grew up a little bit, because even though I didn't really experience my growing up with them, when I came here to Georgia, people continued saying that, but they would say it like, necesitamos que pagarle a Lupita pa que hable. And to me, that would hurt a lot when I started growing up, because basically they would literally, I took it as, she thinks she's all that we need to pay her in order for her to talk. Like, she's a goody two shoes, and she thinks she's and stuff like that. And the thing is that I never really thought I was that kind of girl, just because I just never really knew how to socialize. And it's like, I don't know, that stuck with me. So it's like, I'm not much of a talker, but I also know my place when it's time to talk. Like, if there's no need for me to talk, then I'm just gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna observe the situation, the circumstances. But don't get me wrong, sometimes I don't even know my social cues, which is also very bad. So, toxicity at workplaces. I never understood that. Like, I worked at McDonald's. I've worked at LA Fitness. I've worked at Burlington Coat Factory. I've worked at a senior living, and I currently work at the job I currently am. So I've worked 5 jobs. And in all 5 jobs, there's some kind of toxicity going on. And I think in every job you will have that kind of atmosphere, whether you want it or not. And it's sad, in my opinion. Like, in my first job ever at McDonald's, there was just so much I don't think it was that it was toxic when it came to coworkers, except for one. It was more of like the customer service and how people would go through the drive-through. Like I worked front register, but I never liked it just because I would always get this anxious pit in my stomach that I would get the orders wrong and that the customers would beat me. Like that's how bad it was for me. Um, but besides that, everything was fine. The drive-through, I've only had 2 incidents in the drive-through where I'm just here like people are really rude. Like people are very toxic in the drive-through where like I just hated interacting with people in general. Like working at that job made me realize that I can deal with customer service, but I can't deal with people on the other side because people are very rude and they don't have the patience. Which, to a certain degree, it's fine because it is a fast food establishment. But, if things don't go accordingly, like if we're down a cook or we're down a person or of some kind of category in whatever spot, you need to understand that you need to be patient. So, that's the toxicness I got from McDonald's. Like it wasn't the much of the coworkers, it was more of the customers. So like my incident there, I can only remember one just because this one literally impacted me and I literally wanted to quit that day. But where this lady had come to the drive-through and all I did, I never took orders just because I didn't like the headset and it would give me anxiety. So all I would do was like um ask them, did you order this? And if they say yes, give them the order. If they say no, you don't give them the order. There was this one time where this lady, I was working the closing shift. This lady came through the drive-through and she's just laughing at me. And I'm just like, hi, ma'am, is this your order? And she's like, yes, this is my order. And I'm like, hey, currently they're making your burger fresh because the cook had made a mistake. If you'd like to pull a little bit forward, we will bring out your food shortly. It shouldn't take that long. And she was just like, isn't this supposed to be a fast food restaurant? Shouldn't our food be made fast? And I'm like, sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am, but can you just please pull it forward? And she's like, can I at least have my drink? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. It was, I guess, a Diet Coke. And she was like, yes. So I give her Diet Coke. This lady proceeds to throw the Diet Coke at me. So now at that point, I'm soaking wet. And she's like, this is the slowest customer service I've ever had. And this is all because it's your fault. My fault, basically. She was blaming me because her food wasn't ready. And I'm just here like, I didn't tell her this. I was, in my head, I'm like, I don't even work in the kitchen, but I'm just drenched. And she pulls forward. And I'm just here like, I look at the manager during that time. And I just literally, like, I take myself to the bathroom and I call, I think either my brother or his wife, and I'm like, come pick me up. Like, I'm not working no more. Like, I quit. And he's like, what happened? And I'm like, this lady literally threw a drink at me and literally just started saying that it's my fault because her food wasn't ready on time. And I don't know who I called. They were like, no, like, just go change, wait it out, just cool down or whatever. And thankfully, I had brought extra clothes to change into. And I've always done that just because if anything were to happen. But I didn't really think that it would have to come to this kind of a situation. So I was just there like, you know what? Whatever. I changed and I stayed. And thankfully they didn't tell me to take out the food. And the thing was just like, if the shoe was the other way around, that lady most likely would have gone through the freaking window and punched me if it was the roles changed around. But me being me, I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to defend myself. I just literally walked away and went to the bathroom. And I started crying out of pure anger. But that was the worst experience I ever had, working at McDonald's. I've been there. At LA Fitness, I have a lot of stories about LA Fitness. And I've already uploaded, I think, 1 or 2 videos about it on here. But I've made them private. There's a lot of toxic gym goers. Toxic, nasty, repugnant people that would go work out at that time when I worked there. I had applied to become a janitorial staff, but at the end I became front receptionist because hired me because I was bilingual. I knew Spanish, and most of the time, Hispanics would come that don't know English. So, and then from there I would take them to to the sales representative, and then I would translate from there. So that was the whole thing. And I can't really tell you from memory who was and wasn't toxic. It's just the fact that it was just messy. Working there was very messy. Like, you had people who would be like in love with each other, and then they would mess with another person who worked there that was in love with each other. And it was very gross. Like, it was very not demure. And there was one occasion where the janitor's room, beforehand, when you needed to get supplies from the janitor room, it was open. You can go in, do what you have to do, and then, come out. No, at that point they had locked it, and they said only janitors can come in here with, said key. And it's because I find that this kind of ironic, but it was because there was 2 janitors in there, doing the deed, and they got caught. And yeah, like, that was like the whole talk around the messiness of at that time. And there was other messiness where people were having schmecks in the kids' play area, which was very, unhygienic and very, I don't know, like, it was just so messy. There's probably other things that happen there too. Like, it's just gross. Like, I don't know. I don't know if things have changed, but it was just disgusting. Like, if you guys want story times from there, like, I have a bunch of them. I don't have that many about McDonald's, but from LA Fitness, I have a bunch of them. I also worked at the Burlington warehouse, the Burlington Coat warehouse, but it wasn't really a warehouse. I loved that job. I loved the people there. I have nothing to complain. There was only one person that I hated so much. And I don't know if they ever fired her. And if they did, good for them. I love the people there. Like, they were very welcoming. They were very, like, they were just very welcoming, and I just enjoyed working there. Management was pretty kind of, it was poor done, but other than that, I feel like management is poorly done everywhere, if you want me to be quite honest. Like, you either get a good one who's an ass, or you get a bad one who's also an ass. So, but I loved working there. I enjoyed it with a passion. Like, the hours were fine, 'cause I liked this job, but eventually I had to let it go because I wasn't really getting paid enough, and they were, like, cutting hours. So that's the only sad part. And I worked in the back. I didn't work in the register. Like, I literally looked at them and I'm like, can you guys give me any work that doesn't revolve with customer service? Like, I hate with a passion working with customer service. Like, you don't understand. I have customer service experiences, but I hate it. I just didn't want to interact with people. I had another job, which was working with at a senior living place. I don't know if I can say their name. It's because I was hired to be a cleaner, so a housekeeper. And since I was a housekeeper, I was just filling in. 3 women that were, like, working there were assigned. So there was basically 3 floors. Like, if the lady who worked on the first floor wasn't, the day I would go, I would work for her, and she would leave me, like, notes telling me, hey, clean here, 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 and clean these rooms in these order. Likewise with the second and third floor. So that's what I was. I was basically like a filler. But when I had gotten hired, I was majorly working in the dementia section, and I feel like that was, like, the saddest place. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how caregivers can deal with this kind of atmosphere. Because to me, it was severely heavy. I didn't see the elderly die, but I would see them, like, in their moments, like, dying, but not dead. Like, it's very sad. You see the family members, you see them crying, and then we're, like, the last people to go in to clean their rooms once, like, they've passed away or they've been moved to a different facility. And to me, that was just so sad. Like, to me, it's not that I couldn't handle it. It was just like, I would go in there and I could feel such sadness in that room that I'm just feel like, damn. And then next thing you know, like in the next week or so, the room was filled with somebody else. And it made me even sadder because it was just like a whole cycle of, somebody would die, their room would be available, and then somebody else would take it. So, I don't think I would recommend that job just to anybody, just because I feel like you would get attached. I think as a caregiver, you would get attached to your patients, and thankfully, I never really got attached to none of the elderly that lived there. It was just a lot of sadness, a lot of like talking behind each other's backs. I've never really had an experience where the elderly would be racist towards me, just because my boss had told me like, hey, don't take offense to them, but some of them are racist. They would call you slurs, but I never experienced that. Most of the people that I met there were very nice. They were very lovely. I also worked as a waitress there. Like they had like a little section where it's basically like dining room table, and there was a point where I was asking for extra hours, and the only extra hours they would give me is working in the kitchen by serving people. And when I first started doing that, I was so severely scared just because I've never done any waitressing. I couldn't remember people's orders like that. Like, I just couldn't remember anything. And, they're like, no, it's fine. Just take it slow. Like, if you're having issues, it's okay. Like, you got this. And, like, the first couple of times, yes, I didn't have it. Like, I didn't know. I think it's out of pure ignorance, but also I've never worked with the elderly at the age I was. But, certain elderly people can't eat or drink certain foods. Sometimes like the water I'm drinking is I just drink it, but there's some people that can't drink that because it goes down too fast that they choke. They need certain powders to make it more dense so that they can swallow and not choke. So, and then also you remember like the preferences of their food, or you tell them like, hey, this is what we're serving, what would you like, and stuff like that. So but I never really liked working as a server, just because it felt very, now that I think about it, everything just gives me anxiety. It was just so anxiety, but it was also kind of a thrill because I would feel like I would start getting better. And when I would make one mistake, I would feel like crap. I would be like, oh my gosh, I made this person's day worse by not giving him the breakfast he wanted. But yeah, like, I don't think it was a bad job, but I think there were certain aspects that I didn't like, and I wouldn't work there again. Like, till this day, I get emails about like people like, hey, there's a job fair here, you can apply again. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend it. And the it's not the last job. It's actually the current job I work for. Not the current position, but the previous position. I'm not really sure if I can talk about this, but I used to work at a warehouse for said company. And I work for still said company, but I work at a different department. So I no longer work at the warehouse. I work at the plant area. So, dude, that place, it just sucked. Like, when I had applied, I was applying to work at the plant on the floor, to not make the products, but I think to package them. But the security guard was like, hey, they're looking for somebody else to work at the warehouse. You can apply for that. And it's not a heavy job. You have set hours from Monday through Friday, and so on and so forth. So I had applied for that job. The warehouse manager contacted me. He did my interview, and I was like, yeah, I'm down for this job. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. They just knew that I had customer service, that I was bilingual, and that I knew how to use Excel. That was basically all the requirements they had asked me for. I didn't know their system. I just didn't know what I was going to do. All they were telling me was like, oh, you're doing inventory. That's all they told me. But once like I literally got into the whole job, it was more than just inventory. Like, I never really had somebody who taught me fully. The person that I was taking his place, he was, I think, getting promoted or changing to a new position to work on the floor, and I was taking his spot. And he was teaching me, and I did learn things, but I didn't really learn things per se because I kept on getting moved from person to person to teach me. And then eventually I was taught. I grasped the concept, I grasped the software, But I didn't understand fully that when you do inventory, you're supposed to lose and gain in certain products, and my head couldn't rationalize or realize that until later on, when I was literally getting in trouble every single day for mistakes that nobody really literally explained to me. And I gotten written up so many times. There's product that I didn't even order right. Like, it was a lot for me, and at first, like the first couple of months, I didn't want to go back to work. Like, I hated it. Like, I was like, I dread it, and you know, I hated that job so much. But then, there's always a light in the tunnel where I started to understand, what to count, how to count, what areas, what product is missing, what product is mistaken. Like, I started to get the fundamentals of how to work that job. But there was a huge mess with that position. I cried a lot. I was always in stress. I was always having mental breakdowns because of said job. Had escalated to a point where I had issues with someone up higher who had somebody higher who had gotten the position, and him and I we started clashing. I was trying to go back to school and whatnot, go back into the financing to get my degree. And I was asking him, like, hey, can I do this? Or, like, I was trying to figure out a way to make work and school work. But it didn't work. And to me, like, I found it kind of weird because he would work with everybody else's schedule and be like, yeah, it's fine. But with mine, he wouldn't work with it. And it got to a point where I was over it, and I went to his higher ups. And I was like, hey, like, I'm trying to get this. Like, I asked him, like, can we work this out? Do I have to come later? Like, what do I have to do in order to make this work? Because I do want to get my degree. And I guess that ticked him off that I went a step further higher than him, that he started talking behind my back. He started talking very bad things. He started talking to one of my coworker friends. He started bashing me for every little thing. And I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I can't come here, because whenever I would see him, he would literally be so two-faced. He would talk to me normally, but then he would go behind my back and talk about me. And I couldn't handle it anymore, and I literally, every single time that would happen, I would break down even more than I was when I started. I would break down even more, and just, I didn't want to come. Like, I was in such a negative place, just because besides what was going on with work, my relationship wasn't going well, whether it be my relationship with at that time, my significant other, and my mom, and my family in general. It was a very hard time, and I had reported him to HR, and eventually I got moved to a new position, which I'm currently in, and I'm very happy. Like, I'm currently happy, like, you don't know, like. But I also have story times for that warehouse as well, if you guys would like to know. So, but yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. We finally reached 400 followers on TikTok. We're growing on YouTube as well. Like, thank you so much, guys. Like, you guys don't understand how much I appreciate that. Like, low-key and high-key, I do feel so happy that we're growing as a community, and I'm growing as a person, as a content creator. But, like, I have goals. I want to reach at least 1,000 on TikTok at some point, and for YouTube at least 500. Like, I know we can do that, guys. Like, I know we can, like, do that as a community. You guys can go like, share, subscribe, just share any funny clip, anything that you're like, damn, this is funny. Like, let's go share it. Let's go share her trauma. Like, I'm totally fine with that. That's why I'm speaking to you guys in this kind of manner, because I feel like you and I, whoever the viewer is right now, like, we're best friends. We're best friends for life. For lifers. Like, you guys don't understand. Like, this makes me so happy that I can talk to you guys in this kind of manner. And I just hope that this community can keep on growing. And, we can still have these kind of talks. But who knows, maybe eventually I can do meetups. Just like how back in 2016 or back in the day when they used to do meetups to meet your favorite content creator. Like, I would like to do that. I would like to do that. I would like to go visit places to go visit you guys. Like, it's scary, don't get me wrong, but like I am willing so much to do that because I don't know, like this just to me this is so fun. I love it. And I love you guys. You guys are the world. You guys mean so much to me. And yeah, like I love you guys. Like, thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Like, that's the best thing you guys can do for me to grow, for us to grow, for us to see each other grow through this journey. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching. Again, I adore you guys. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.